Yes, and if you're just locking into News Talk 93 FM, you are listening to the Hot Box, and you're just in time to catch the remainder of the show. And don't forget, later on we've got Artist Vibes with our two young female artists, Seckles and Jolanda. So stay tuned for the talent, because it's going to be a vibes. However, I have in studio with me right now Coach Robert Clarke and his assistant coach, should I say, Ethan.
Coach Ethan, but my real name is Everton Nicholson.
Everton Nicholson, but we'll call you Coach Ethan.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and we've also got Coach Robert Clarke.
Robert Clarke.
All right, well listen, before we start, it's about football tonight, right? Before we start, I need to know what football teams you support.
You want to go first?
Well, I normally don't support the coaches them still.
No, what football team do you support?
Manchester City.
You just got in there with the Manchester City. Which one do you support?
Liverpool all the way.
No, man. Not at all, Liverpool. But you know what? It's all right. I'm going to let you guys off, because at least you didn't say Manchester United. Because if you'd have said Manchester United, I would just have to end the interview. Because I'm not talking to no Man United fan. I don't personally talk to Manchester United. Big Arsenal fan, me, you know, a big gunner.
I get the drift. Guys.
Right.
I don't even want to see their jersey. You don't like them? I don't even want to see
Well,
their
when
jersey.
listen, one taxi man come to pick me up with on, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't get in the car with you, Manchester United. If they've got a Manchester United sticker on the car, I don't want to get in that car either.
It's a stigma where football is concerned, but
Right.
you know.
I just don't like Manchester United. You know, I used to live like a stone's throw away from them in the UK, and the fans are so rude. Like, the fans are the most rudest fans in the Premiership. Anyway, let's forget about that. Let's talk about football in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right? And let's talk about the lack of opportunities of football in Jamaica. We'll talk about that later on. Tell us about what you guys do when it comes to the football coaching.
All right, for me and Uncle Ethan at this point in time, we kind of administrate and operate a football academy in the Elton Park area.
Nice, that's what we need. We need football academy.
We concentrate on kids from the age of 7 upward.
Mm-hmm.
We can go much younger if the width of the child is
right.
You know, but
if the skill is there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they have the skill at all 3 and 4 years old. You can actually see it there, can't you? The control.
Yeah, but we're more focused on the 7 upward.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Which area did you say? In Eltham, you said.
Eltham.
That's
Eltham
Spanish
Park.
Town.
Yeah,
side.
Spanish Town.
Okay. Is that near the Brunswick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a right turn off the Brunswick.
Right. I think I know that area. You're the assistant coach as
Yes,
well.
I am.
Right. So is it like a community football thing, or is it that anybody can join the academy from any other community?
Yes, because we use the football as a community package to help
Build up the
young
youths.
men in and around the community.
Right.
Because you know, say, if you eventually get everybody involved, you will more of a more peaceful environment.
Right, because coming from a football background in the UK, Manchester United was started at the time there was some friction going on. So Manchester United and Manchester City used to share the same grounds.
Yes.
And football was started as a way of alleviating some crime, if you want, stop the youth from hanging around on the streets. Them times they're throwing stones at your window, knocking on your doors and running away, and they set up football. And I think what people fail to understand is football is one of those vehicles that cause change in the community.
We stress it a lot.
It's social change.
It does create social change. However, because I'm going to tell you now, I've worked with some of the teams in Jamaica. I worked with Augusttown Football Club for many years when they were in the Premiership, and then went down to Cassava.
Thank you for your service.
Right, and they tried to get me to work at Arnett Gardens, but Arnett Gardens footballers are too undisciplined. Do you think that our football, right, because we have some great players. Like I see them all the time, especially in the inner city communities.
Yeah, they are there.
How do they get, like, how do they get noticed, if you like? Because it's not often that a scout will go down, say, I'm going to use Augusttown as an example, go into Augusttown and see where the raw talent is. How do you open up those gates for the youngsters?
All right, those gates normally bridged by the community leaders, the people in the community that have intention for it to be much better.
Right.
So they are able to come together and organize team and structure it in a particular way. So they can be able to ensure that they can start helping the kids them express themselves or the people them express themselves. So,
Right.
so when they venture out to other places, people can see them as well.
Right. But like you've got like say like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old ready to get going into high school football, right? How are you able to expose their skills? Because now we have internet, and I see a lot of persons putting themselves like groups, like football teams, putting the players out and their stats and their whatevers online. How do you expose your players?
In those cases where that age group you mentioned, the parents play an integral role in it.
Right. They
So,
have to.
Yeah, they must. Because if the parents leave those children and leave somebody, they're going to exclude from education
Right.
a particular discipline where they coordinate with the sports in order for them to excel. So those things are going to missing. So the parents play a very integral role in that aspect of the child life.
Right.
Because the parent is the first coach.
Right.
Our coaches.
And with what we try to establish too as a very important point is we don't put football at the head of the table.
Yeah.
Your education comes first.
Yeah.
And utmost.
But I agree with you, in some respect.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what I don't agree with, and I'll never agree with it. And it's something that they do here in Jamaica, and I've seen in the UK, where, for example, a player, Wes Brown, right? Yeah. Lots of challenges at school, and stuff like that. But because he had a skill, his money-making skill was in his feet.
Yeah.
Right? He might, that's where he was going to make his living.
You can see.
Right, you can see it. Now, what I find in Jamaica, right, is that if a young youth who's playing on the football team for the school doesn't get a certain grade, is taken off the football team or is taken away from training. And I can't get honestly, that's something that I can't get my head around. Because if you've got that skill in your foot, but you've not got it in your brain, so what? No. You know what I mean? And they're actually stopped, aren't they? Right? You can't. You have to come off the team because you didn't reach a certain grade.
For us, it's from the region that we are, because you see our geographical location in terms of the Caribbean, education a number one priority for our people to move forward. Right?
Yeah, but what if they're moving forward in their feet?
No, they don't look at it like that. They don't look at it from the South American perspective, because every youth we're playing the Manning Cup now at 18 and 19 have to have a certain level of educational background.
But you think that's right though?
Well, in some cases it's very important.
I think not cutting you. I think discipline is more important. You can have a disciplined youth who's not maybe reaching the grade.
Discipline and the professionalism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what, Robert?
Yeah.
I think that discipline and professionalism is missing out of our footballers, especially if you get them at because let me tell you something, because I'm passionate about football in Jamaica. I'm passionate. When I ask a child what team do you support and he's telling me Manchester City, it infuriates me because I want to hear Portmore United or I want to hear Arnett Gardens. I don't want to hear these foreign teams. And when you ask them, they're living in Arnett Gardens, and you say to them, name me a player from Arnett Gardens, they can't do it.
You have to blame that on the exposure to social media.
I'm blaming it on the JFF.
Yeah, because we our football don't get not even a quarter
They
of the
don't.
coverage.
Let me tell you something, right?
Yeah.
In the PR of your football team is very important. So, like you said, the
Very.
coverage.
Yeah.
So, why am I not reading at Christmas time that Portmore United or Montego United have gone into the local children's hospital and delivered presents? Because that is public relations.
Yes.
Right? But we don't see that.
That is
The,
lacking. That
the
is
priority of the person or the people that is in authority we have to do with the football.
Yes, it's
Care
them
very
lot.
less about
Yeah.
those things.
Why am I seeing
Yeah.
a Jamaican football playing for his national country taking a route taxi bus? Why am I seeing that? I don't.
Yeah.
And they play for their national team.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but it has been there for a very long time, and it is
So then what-
subjected
so-
to change. And we don't have to keep our fingers crossed and talk to the man upstairs and beg him do make somebody
Because
in
that
authority
doesn't.
change that, because
Right.
it's terrible.
That's why the footballers, with all due respect, want to, when they say they want to run off to foreign teams, they want to, even I've heard 26, 27-year-old hardback man playing for a Premiership team here whose dream is to go and play for Manchester United. That's
That
a
is not-
nightmare.
That's
You're not going.
You're not going.
But why it is like that still is because of the financing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
We don't have a sustainable zone where the financing can come from
Right.
in terms of with the support.
Right.
So, and even if the player sign a contract, sometime the contract when him sign, the amount of money where him supposed to get, it
Yeah.
don't come forth.
Right.
And if it even don't come forth, it's very late.
Right, and you get some football team owners as well that just own football teams for an ego.
Just benefits.
And,
For an ego.
and just to exploit
right.
the youngsters
Yes.
and just exploit them.
It's all
Yeah.
over. And then some coaches that use the team to build his resume. He doesn't personalize with the players.
Right.
He use the team to try to make a resume
So they
so
can
that
move
get
forward.
jobs anywhere.
Right, I get that.
A win at all costs. Sometimes that damage the youth's
Right.
character.
Right.
Because I cannot coach a set of youth and don't really focus on his well-being. When I go
Exactly.
in at night,
It has to be a personal
I have to
thing.
Yeah.
look at that young man.
Yeah.
Because
Or
let
the
me-
young men,
yeah,
if it's 20 of them, I have to go through my brain
Yeah.
the
Every
process
single one of
one
them.
of
Well,
them in order.
when I was working with the team, I had to make sure if we had morning training early,
Yeah.
they had a breakfast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? If we had an evening training, they had an evening meal. Because some of them, they don't have food to even be able to train properly. They're not able to have the right diet. They're not able to eat the right food.
If your station is going to visit a club or a school tomorrow and they learn that you're coming,
All of that change.
they are going to put those things in place. And when you're gone, you're gone straight back to square one.
Because what I've learned, and I've learned that very hard, inside the football itself, because as much as you see me as an assistant coach, I'm still a student of the game.
Right.
You always
Because
have
it
to learn.
evolves some of the times.
Right.
Every single player that we're around, their body mechanism, how they shape when they kick a ball a certain way, we have to study every single one of them to try and make the game as easy as possible for them.
And make it more understandable
Yeah.
for them as well.
Right. So let me ask you this question. Why do the females do better than the men then?
It's not that the female do better, the female make more accomplishments.
Why is that? Because the females train harder. I bet you the females train harder, because when I was working in football, you know the amount of times I used to come on the pitch and they'd be there rubbing their palms.
All right. You see,
Rubbing their palms, earrings in their ears. Oh, miss. Oh, gotta keep my earrings in.
knowing you mentioned that still, in those cases, a lack of professionalism caused that. But the female accomplishment, if you notice in the zones them where females them come from, and like Jamaica alone, they are from Europe,
Right.
they are from America.
And that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
What we need to do is, you see, great to the Jamaican players overseas who are playing in these big Premier Leagues, but you know what? They should give back to their own country. That should be a discipline where if you are from Jamaica, you can't be go playing for Chelsea or Manchester City. You need to come back and represent your country, because you know, if we had all of those players coming representing, they couldn't touch Jamaica in World Cup.
The talent pool would be so great.
Exactly, they couldn't touch it. And these players who get the opportunity to play overseas say, oh, but Susie, it's about the money. It shouldn't be about the money. It should be about giving back.
In our profession, we call that the trickle-down effect.
Right.
Each one brings back one.
Yes.
Or brings back something to help another one. And we emphasize that at our academy, as most of our equipments and some of the things that we get are from people that has passed through our hands, and I've learned to respect the fact that when you are here, we still have players here that we are responsible for.
Right.
And it's not something that we are getting any funding for. This is just a volunteer thing.
Yeah, it's always volunteer.
And most of the time it comes out of the coach's pocket.
In certain aspects, in certain aspects of Jamaica, it's being volunteer. You have to involve.
Yeah, but even so, they don't get that much money.
Yeah.
No, but you have certain, like for us at Clarke Academy, we have this tendency, we are not getting any support. If we lobby left, right, and center, we still not getting all
you
our
have an
protocols.
academy.
Yeah, all of the protocols where people don't make note of. So we must go through this procedure. We exhaust all of these things.
You know what? I interviewed Steve Francis one time, you know, the one who trains athletes. And he said to me that when the English left Jamaica, they set up like the champs and took football with them. And we've never been able to get that back in terms of football. Because why are we excel in every kind of sport? Why are we not excelling in football?
Why we are not excelling in football? We have this suppressive format in terms of coaching. Everybody know everything. We don't have a system of our format we have to do with coaching. We can be able to help each other, right? You have some coaches, and them alone benefit from everything we put in place. You have 7 or 8 coaches in Jamaica. If you look at the Premier League, they are there.
Yeah.
The female football, they are there. The Manning Cup, they are there. So there's a suppressive state that we are in. No space create or leave for a young coach like myself or the younger coach where I come from GC for start, UWE and UTEC, right? Everything, they ended up being the technical director, they monitor the money, they manage everything. So that's one of our biggest problems. And the identity of how we should play and what we should play, what particular system we should play from. These are some of the things.
And again, the professionalism.
Yeah, it's very important.
Because I know that, you know, well, that team, that's because I was their development coach, professional and development coach. I used to do all the programs. So one of the things you mentioned before was the parents.
Yeah.
Is there any programs that you also run for the parents? Because I think that's important as well. Even if you just do like a 2-day workshop on entrepreneurial skills, just to keep them involved.
Let me explain something to you about my parents of my kids and majority of my kids. It's like them send them to me. So me eventually and this money Ethan, be the mother and father of them.
Yeah, but what are they doing outside of you guys being the mother and father and coaching them and having them a certain way?
They don't even come and watch them play.
Well, and you know what? That is when I would shut the child off the team. Not because he's not getting the grades, but if you as a parent don't come to watch your child, then he's not playing on the team this week. And that should make them come.
But hear me out. Remember, say, our football is more than just football playing. It's community oriented and all these things. So
make the community come out.
I have a WhatsApp chat with all of the parents, and it doesn't matter what I mention in the chat.
Right. Well, here's a suggestion to you.
Yeah.
Right. You need to run a workshop on how what they're doing is affecting their child.
Yeah.
Because you know what? There's nothing worse than a child doing something in a sport or music or anything and not getting the support of the, because you think, what am I doing it for?
Yeah, it's very important.
What am I doing it for?
And
So that's what they need
in a
a
nutshell,
workshop in.
it affects, it has its effect.
Of course
on
it
them.
does, because I know, because I used to swim, and when my I could have been an Olympic swimmer, but my mum she was more into athletics. She never really into the swimming.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what, I'm not doing it again.
Because
And I jacked it in.
again, so our main group of children that surrounded our football, is mostly like single parent,
Yeah.
no parent,
Yep.
little or no
Yep.
guardian.
Yep.
These are some of the things that
Yep.
we have to encounter and deal
And that's
with.
why I said to you about Wes Brown. Wes Brown was brought up by his white mum, and he had a Jamaican father, and he brought up by a single family. A lot of footballers that play for these premiership teams that these young guys aspire to play for are brought up by single parents.
Yeah.
They're brought up in inner city communities, because one thing about Manchester United, I'll give them that, and Manchester City, they go into the inner city communities and from the community.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to a Manchester club would not go to London and pluck a player and bring it to Manchester.
They focus in
right?
their community.
They focus
It's
in
all
their
about
community.
in their community.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's why we call it football. Manchester City have a program called Football in the Community, and the coaches go to all the schools and they coach the kids and stuff like that. But in terms of them, if you're 7-year-olds, how do you aspire them to want to play football when they don't have any role models? They're not driving down the road and seeing big billboard pictures of Jamaican football players.
That is when the social media takes over.
Right.
Because they are so exposed to all of the matches. They can use an app and watch the match on their phone and their tablets or laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
They, in football terms, would I say you bypass the midfield. They have bypassed the Jamaicans that they should be having as role models, and their role models are Messi. And
Ronaldo,
Ronaldinho,
yeah, Clarke, all of them.
Those are their role models. So it's lacking, and it doesn't look good, because we have players that can play anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I know.
Yeah.
No, Ethan. Individually, our players in Jamaica individually are much better than the rest of players them in the world.
It's just we don't know how to
Because
play as a team.
we have agility, we have aggression, we speed.
Yes.
The only thing what we lacking in those areas, and you can see it in our football, is the exceptional brain power and the professionalism
and the public relations person who is interested in the footballers and not interested in the fact that it's a team. That's why Manchester United was so successful. They're not successful now, are they? Right?
They're doing
all right, but you know what? They weren't as good when Alex Ferguson was there.
Remember, so the football evolved, it kind of catch up.
What?
With the football overall.
So all of the dominant teams now are being caught up by the rest.
Yeah.
If you take a good look
in the Premiership.
The dominance, the points can be shared all over the place.
Yeah.
Because
I think Arsenal played Brentwood.
Yeah,
and they only won
Manchester
1-0.
City got knocked out.
Right,
they call it cup. So
it's embarrassing, right?
But and a matter of you refer to the 7-year-old, how to get them involved.
Yeah.
The parents there is the most important.
Most important.
Because for me,
but
over the years,
are not coming to see them.
Over the years, what I noticed, basically in everything, when a child have them parents or them guardians supporting them, they always come out much better
and
than
do
that.
better. Yeah.
And we're not gonna
even if they don't have the skill, they have the professionalism, they approach the discipline in order to deal with the sports, comparing to the ones that we have don't have that support.
Yeah.
We have a few that comes, we have a few that comes.
Yeah.
Like on a Saturday mornings when we have our Saturday morning training. There have a few will come, a 2 or 3 parents.
No man, that's not enough. You want them all there.
You
want them all there. Honestly, you need to do some kind of workshop where they, I don't know what it's called, but something where they'll
Pint
be able
taking,
to,
pint taking.
to know how
we're going to look at
important
that
it is
very seriously.
to have you
Yeah.
come and support your child, what that's going to do for your child and what that's going to do back for you in return, because guess what, you're going to meet other parents,
Because
you can have socials, you know what I mean?
the interest that the kids show to kind of make you want to do more.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because
the
they call
man,
you.
yeah,
They call you. Training is keeping.
yeah,
They want to train.
Yeah.
They want to come.
They always be like that.
Always be like that.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a sad day when you have to think that way, but my way from where I'm standing as assistant, I cannot give up. Because I'm gonna give up on
well, I'm glad you
a
got
possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I say?
Yeah.
So I have to be more. For
Are you
them.
watching somebody right now? Are you watching a couple of your players right now? Molding
Yes.
them?
Well, we
Yes,
see
we
some
mold a
little young
lot.
one with prospect,
Right.
you know.
You will mold a
where-
lot.
How do you get on with the equipment though? Because it's expensive. Boots are expensive.
That's
aren't
where the
they?
trickling
All
effect
right.
comes in. We get
Most of the
Mhm.
the things that we don't cover our football is able to administrate from my thing when me don't put in place.
Right.
And we have a one lady at this point in time. Every time I call it, it's all in a wasted. Miss Pam
Yeah.
on her shop.
Right.
yeah.
She normally
She
support
donates.
Yeah.
support us with
Refreshments.
refreshment for the kids.
Every Saturday.
So that's one of the main
Big up Miss Pam.
man.
Big up Miss
You
Pam.
know, sister, so
You know what? We have to come to the end. You know, when it comes to football, I could talk all night
night.
because I'm so
All night.
passionate.
I can listen
haven't
and talk all
I
night
haven't
too.
even hit what I wanted to
No.
hit. But you know what? I
We
wish you
haven't
guys
touched
all
the
the best.
surface.
One of these days, I'd love to be invited down to your
yes, you can.
football
But
camp.
for now, you can look at where YouTube channel Clarke TV.
Yes, definitely. Clarke
Yeah,
TV.
yeah.
And I'll put a workshop together for you guys as well because I think you guys need
Remember
it.
with the E, not the shoes.
Clarke with an E. All right, Clarke with an E.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming in
It
was
and
a pleasure.
talking
It was a
about
pleasure.
the football, some of the challenges.
We're talking about something that we love dearly.
Yeah.
So
We should do one show on football. We need a show on news talking
You need
about
to,
football.
you
you
need
need
to,
to. You
guys.
need to. Jamaica needs it.
Yeah, definitely. But all the best to you guys. Wish
You
you all
too.
the best. I'll check out your YouTube channel,
Yeah.
Clarke TV.
Yeah, with
All
the
right.
E.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the E.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
we're going to go to a quick break now, and when we come back, we'll be vibesing it out with our artists.